Effects of the June 24th general elections are still lingering. The political parties, especially the main opposition All People's Congress APC party, are still firmly fixated on the key demands. The subsequent result from this demand is a non-participation of elected APC officials in governance. Now, this action has seen the intervention by the Independent Peace Commission for Peace and National Cohesion graduate from a perspective of national interest to regional, continental, and intercontinental concerns. A team from the African Union, ECOWAS, and Commonwealth jetted in on Friday and has already held preliminary closed-door introductory meetings with both sides of the divide. Chairperson of the team met with journalists and CSOs to get an insight on their views to better understand the issues. The chair explained that they've got commitments from both government and the APC, and their immediate plan is to get the APC to participate in governance. She added that they plan on doing a communique to get the two parties to sign at the end. However, during the brief interaction with the president on Friday, His Excellency Julius Maada Bio welcomed the delegation and said dialogue was an important hallmark of African governance processes. The U.S. Embassy in Freetown also tweeted, "We encourage Sierra Leonean leaders to take steps to build trust, eschew pursuit of personal and partisan interest, and seek outcomes that benefit all Sierra Leoneans and safeguard the country's democratic path for future generations." With all this being said, what is expected from the dialogue starting on Monday, the 16th, to Wednesday, the 18th of October, hosted under the aegis of the ICPNC and mediated by the team from AU, ECOWAS, and Commonwealth? I am John Conte, and this is AYV on Sunday. Good evening and welcome back to AYV on Sunday. Today we shall be discussing the dialogue between government of Sierra Leone and the main opposition, APC, which is facilitated by AU, ECOWAS, Commonwealth, and ICPNC, not forgetting the expectations. You can follow us on DSTV channel 399, Radio 101.7 FM, and on AYV News Facebook page and other social media platforms. Sending your thoughts and comments. We'll find time to go through them and later on in the program. Here with me this evening, I have, some regular voices, regular faces, but very powerful voices as well to help unpack these 2-hour discussions. I have with me Rashid Dumbuya, Esquire. He's a lawyer, by the way, Executive Director, Legal Link, who's with us in the studio this evening. Good evening and welcome to AYV on Sunday, Rashid.
Thanks for having me after a long while.
I know. You're most welcome. Ibrahim Tommy, Executive Director of the Center for Accountability and Rule of Law, CAR. Welcome, Ibrahim.
Thank you very much.
We're also expecting one more guest, and along the show we go talk to Honorable Abdul Kagbo, who represents the All People's Congress Party. Unfortunately, for some reason, we cannot have them in the studio, but when time reach Ashose after the successful dialogue, well, we all look forward to that going to end this week, where it be, as we mentioned in the intro, hosted by the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion. We get support from AU, Commonwealth, and ECOWAS. We will begin to forget them for being involved in the thing there. So, well, gentlemen, welcome again to AYV on Sunday. Past 2 weeks have been quite eventful with the actions that we don't be taken, with the conscious and intentional decisions that don't be taken by both, government and that of the opposition. In the past 2 weeks, we see Usai, the opposition leader, we lead APC to the elections. Dr. Samuel Kamara issue a statement that he will be part of the dialogue. Tem don't reach for the one. Just that week there as well, we see Usai President Vio announced that he's lifting the traveling ban on probably it was generalized, before indicate or mention who that exactly, but that was also a good step. And then just this week, Ibrahim and Rashid, dialogue and mediation will be announced where the Independent Commission for Peace, they facilitate, get support from AU, start off this weekend. We'll get into the details of that, but let's go to establishing on AYV on Sunday today. Waiting clearly now, then process there so mediation, dialogue, arbitration. But you both are lawyers. They smile. Let's start off with waiting our mediation, so people can go truly understand. And before we get into the nitty-gritty of the other issues we get for tie with, waiting at the interest or demand of them political parties there or the parties involved in the mediation, who are going to let go of in interest, how they go get for change their position. Let's start off, Ibrahim, let's start off with you. What is the mediation process, or within a mediation?
If I don't start with me, senior, but I go start, and then Osata will help me. Basically, the way I understand mediation, it's you get two or more parties we get a dispute, something they disagree over, right? And then no one go na court or go before a tribunal. We go award, for example, you talk about arbitration, we'll talk about arbitration later. Then no one go now before a court or a tribunal, go say you're right or you're wrong, pay this cost or pay these damages. Then some way you can get an arbitration on a court, right? Mediation now, they can't say, okay, this time a complaint, you understand? But importantly, the two parties then get for subject themselves to that process and therefore agree for be part of that process, right? Then you get an independent person with sit down and hear both sides and try for the things that they disagree on, then reconcile the differences and get a common ground, basically, which is pretty much similar to a dialogue. And dialogue pretty much close to, it's part of our culture, African culture. We can get barre, we can get bonfire. You understand? Fambo talk, but they do that bonfire thing. Come, no, so don't talk. Dialogue now just talking and trying to understand each other and try to resolve the, again, differences, the doubts, and bring them. But both dialogue and mediation actually come from a common point that there's an issue to resolve. Let's resolve it through talking, right? And then arbitration now you get for, of course, in basically then get for find, say you do something wrong or you breach somebody's right, and then the award, terminate something to the person we get right over the other. But in this case, it's not an arbitration; it's just mediating.
So before I go to Laura Rashid, in this case, Ibrahim, for instance, All People's Congress Party, then we get grounds for able for go court and get arbitration done, so then take the matter go na the court of law side and can test the bodies we be involved in the process we then get problem with.
I think it's a very important question, and this has been my position for a very long time, even on this station, that Afodalek make APC or indeed any other Sierra Leonean, because the law provides if you're not Sierra Leonean, you register, you vote, you can challenge a presidential result. I've done that for let them go test the law. Law will grow with jurisprudence on elections. Even if they lost, I still believe it's alone in democracy will win, because that judgment where the court could make on the case we then go with. For example, simple thing. They say Electoral Commission not be get certified a result from is a district level before it go regional, right? The district election officer don't certify the results before the regional certified before it comes to national. Even on that one day, you understand? I don't like forget a judicial pronouncement on that one day. Even that one day, you understand? We don't hear about statistical inconsistencies, don't hear about mathematical improbabilities that come from the EU report. I don't like for go see you present that report, that result in a court. Say, see this result. It's not realistic. It's not possible for like you get 100 naira but get 20 naira. You see my point? Therefore, that help us grow with jurisprudence. Now, why they not go court? It comes back to something that I'm sure we'll talk about. They say they not trust the system. But if we also not trust the system or not test the system, then the system is of no use. That is why we, even as we acknowledge, say, we systems are not robust, we systems and get trust issues, no doubt, nobody should run away from that reality. But if you don't test them, you're not going to raise them to the level we all want. And that's not the democracy that we want to bequeath to our children. If we don't use the courts, what do we use? mediation is a good way. And I'm sure, I hope we learn from this, forget about just election disputes. I like things in the whole way would they resolve disputes in this country, we go really try for include mediation. And mediation is really part of the body. It's interesting that international actors can mediate, but they now move forward to just go beyond arbitration and litigation. When they talk at the national level, say, law include mediation in the way how they resolve disputes. So it's a good thing in that regard, but the law, unfortunately, not make provision for mediation for resolving electoral disputes. It say go court and challenge the result. So yeah,
interesting, Rashid. The law not make provision for mediation for challenge electoral disputes. Right. So this one of what use that you get this done, and the major issue therefore be around obviously the issues with elections.
All right, last dance. It's a difficult program to talk in Creole.
Yes.
Good guys, would you mix our hands?
Yes, it's okay.
Last, AYB, thank you for inviting me, and of course, congratulations on content on this AYB program on Sunday. Make I remember me, man. So my wife can go. All right, and congratulations. I wish you all the best. It's a very big program. The country is watching it, and I'm sure you are up to the task. Also, welcome and be colleague here.
Sparring
with the spark all the time. Yes, and thank you very much for sharing the program platform with me. And I look forward to a very healthy discussion today.
Yeah, this issue then at the heart of every Sierra Leonean, and we gladly we would all reach this far. Tomorrow we will start effectively, the negotiations. And yes, I agree. The mediation not to really the legal, benchmark for resolve electoral disputes. So now an uncharted, territory we don't go into. So let's see what will be the outcome. Of course, mediation are way two people and get issues and trust somebody in the middle for just some as an arbiter for resolve and differences, and trust say they will reach a solution where they go willingly agree for enforce, because again at the challenge about mediation, the enforceability part of them is it binding, and how do you enforce that? If somebody says, okay, I don't agree again, all right, waiting will be the outcome, all right, of that day. Court can look at them, say yes, you don't make some effort, but then was it a binding thing? Was it coming from a legal framework?
No, but from the lawyers, when I can help for based on the process they were involved in mediation. Now, if a communique is signed, can it be taken a step further,
yes,
registered, and become a legal document?
So it depends on what they do eventually after the whole agreement. If they do something in writing, then sign them, witnesses, even then register them, it becomes a whole. Part of our own legal frameworks, and of course the international system as well. Then it will clear now say there was some willingness on your part to have this done in concrete terms. So you cannot come now and say no, me and do I against self. Then it will put you in bad light. All right. So in a new paradigm shift for let we go into a mediation over electoral disputes. So we trust say. We go do this in good faith, because good faith is important in this process. Already, we don't see one or two challenges them, where they happen at the moment. But we trust say that will eventually affect the outcome of the entire 3 days, process. So this is also new international actors that they come in terms of looking at this issue, and then they spearhead the process. We get, of course, the independent Commission for Peace. But then you find out that I'm of coordinating all the play. They see international actors, then they come in ECOWAS, AU, the Commonwealth, and so forth and so on. Which is also good, because again, I didn't see how they say. When you sit down, countries and they go through that kind of problem there, come in proactively, then you go give room for anarchy and chaos for happen. You see this happen in Africa now. So many things they happen in African countries, the military intervene and cause a lot of a headache, because they say, well, the governments and they do some things then where nobody need to talk. So then they take the bull by the horn and come in and seize power. So perhaps these are ways we'll for embrace going forward as a continent and look forward to them in a much more credible way. And perhaps even in the bigger picture, Change we laws them for allow for such processes. Not all say no more. You see, now we're talking about trust issues. So what if a situation where it's obvious that politics have taken over the judiciary system? Do we have other pathways? All right, we'll go also perhaps exhaust for come back to a resolution where it will be a win-win for everybody. So yes, I agree. Say this matter should have been resolved through the legal process, and perhaps the opposition party, many opposition party, get a reason why they not go there, but that not still exculpates them from blame in terms of avoiding the legal. The only remedy provided for resolving electoral disputes. But the thing we're happy about now, that somebody, and I'm happy about this guy, it's a young, brave lawyer, Augustine, don't now, in a way, put this whole thing in the context. Augustine has filed a case to the courts that perhaps we are all afraid to go. All right, now the case is over the court. So it left to the courts now, and we are watching to first act in speed, to look at this issue, and to see how a logical conclusion will be reached. Because the whole issue will not come to we.
So that means no matter the outcome of this dialogue,
it's separate. Yes, and it's separate.
The law is still being tested.
Yes,
the justice system is still getting
tested, and it's good that it's coming in simultaneously with this they go on. So let's also see the courts they also act in speed for also look at that matter day and try for being a decision as far as possible.
Now, Ibrahim, do we know the terms of reference of this body where they mediate? What are they going to do? Waiting they can for establish. Waiting will be the potential outcome at the end of the 5-7 days in the country.
I think we still maybe tomorrow then go put them out clearly, but I'm happy for us say we get a brief interaction with them this afternoon, the lead facilitator of this whole group. So what they basically say then get some immediate, medium, and long-term objectives. So it's not just a one-off. I think they want to stay engaged with the country Sierra Leone.
So it's not
the immediate term, of course, the main opposition APC don't boycott governance processes. So I think in the immediate term, which they want to achieve through these discussions, this mediation, dialogue, actually now for get APC back into governance. And then APC, according to them, don't make
is that going to be facilitative or instructive?
It's facilitative, I think. But I think the good thing is the president then don't indicate say fully committed to this process, committed to peace, and the APC said don't give them commitment, the unflinching commitment to this process. And then the APC don't make some demands. So in the immediate future, now for see how they can look at them demands they are and get APC back to governance. And when I both talk about the communique, I think you even raise them to one notch up an agreement, you understand? So then talks in obviously for them a test of both parties and commitment to this and that. Whatever they agree on, whatever they resolve, then go put them in a communique where they all go sign. But now that they President mentioned agreement, it really sounds like a good way to go do an agreement, right? Between two parties. For example, the ruling party may be represented by the Secretary General and the opposition represented by its Secretary General.
But can the people where them parties they actually represent, for instance, place a demand on them that make it binding so that we don't go back and begin dilly-dally and play with the peace of the nation. So get an agreement signed so that we go all on to account of every commitment we want to make during the dialogue.
We all have to be optimistic about this, and I really feel maybe in the course of this conversation, I'll get for unpack some things. Listen, from where I sit, I feel like I don't listen to Dr. Samara Kamara a number of times. I don't listen to President B a number of times. Dr. Samara passionate about imparting concerns, passionate about the way how the elections go and all those issues, but not to say any Sierra Leone really wants let they how they so. So I'm sure at that level, all sides are willing to move forward. But the other level don't discuss it, and there's a lot riding on it. Now the one that we not get for them at that room for negotiate. But believe you me, we get they call them the invisible power holders. We get voice, we able to mobilize. you have to bring them along. And this was what I told the lead facilitator. It's okay to meet with Dr. Samura Kamara, meet with the president, but those parties have people. You understand? We want great audio. I mean, and this is politics too, John, because 2020 get for Kam ultimately. You know, what if Dr. Samura Kamara for run again? And now for losing base through this process. So you get for manage and carefully such that we get an outcome good for the country, but also good for your own political future. We don't know. So there's a lot that we get for manage as part of this process. But I like your point that, yes, whatever we agree, law reduce them in writing, we assign to them, and let citizens, law get citizens groups, intelligence council, law get people and moral guarantors, even the international committee of the camp. So you not go tomorrow, you say, no, now maybe say not say again. What are the implications or the consequences for anybody we want to renege on your own? For example, government say, okay, as part of this process, should I agree, say, we'll go do this. 6 weeks later, you begin saying, no, the law knows, I'll allow you for doing so. What are the consequences? Right there, we know say no one for peace. So would the APC revert to their current position? Or would the government take steps to enforce what the APC have committed to do? So those are the kinds of things I hope we don't have to really get to that point, but I really think at the end of this, Israelis will want to be sure that whatever I agree on, all sides committed to implementing it.
Rashid, back to you. We established that the outcomes of the mediation there, so not can be mandatory until it become an agreement. I mean, because people like Ibrahim say, can back down and say, listen, I mean, we've been saying at first we were interested in this, but it not seem for the go how we want to. I think say in order to meet the interest that we get, in order to meet the position that will be established, therefore we are backing down and we'll go back to the initial position that will be held pre the dialogue. What will make them, like I said earlier, what will make them commit the entire structure of the political parties or even government to a process like this one?
Yes, so the good thing about the entire negotiation, it gets an international, outlook. And you see statements that have been made already by international actors, before even the commencement of the real talks. So it shows you that it's not one kind, small room talk in the part. This now, the entire world is watching, all right? And it has been cascaded to that level. So I'm sure these people are experts. By the time they reach a consensus, they will have to reduce that into a framework, of an agreement where we get an intention for create legal relations. And that's the point. So if reduce that to that level, then you will get problem eventually on enforceability and seeking compliance. All right. So, and even you can even put a whole fork in the road for legal processes down the line. So you have to create the intention for creating legal regulations in the drafting and in the agreements where you reduce at the end of the day on waiting they meet. Because eventually, if we cannot vouch for how people can behave, these are parties. They have like Tommy is saying, they have men who have powers behind the scene. They could go say that thing, the way I go say no agree. And they can be so powerful that they can even start putting a fork in the road and creating more problems. So now we have to ensure, and that's why we are going to take our time, the CSOs, to be a part of this and also follow through. All right. So these 3 days, I will go there, I will watch, I will see, and because we forbid the voice of the people, for CSA at the very least, good faith is exercised throughout the process. So now I want to major in today. Negotiation for let it go through. The parties will come before the table in good faith. That was a possible say right now, if you get a barrage of things the way they want. It could be one way to have national interest, it could be one way to have political interest, party interest. Same as the ruling government. So if they not reach that point, they will say, let's put the country, and I'm happy with the statement of the US representative, which about putting the national interest first. It's against party or personal interest. Because now the fight and the way for happen at the table. All right? Political versus personal as against national interest. So how do we get these people? And that's where our role also is key. CSOs and the people of Sierra Leone. Let we all also be a part of this. Let we not left and get a normal so. Let we say we don't tire with this whole debacle to and fro. We want to make progress. So therefore, let we all learn together and say, no, you go talk until a way get more value to the nation, not to personality, not to like a clash with the Titans. All right, because it's possible that will be seen tomorrow on the first day. Everybody want for sure say, ready for stiff and fuel everything. So let's be hopeful. And I have seen people calling for prayers. It's also important that we pray on this. All right, the Muslim and the Christian and pray that people have to calm down. Because honestly, we need to move on. 4 months now after elections, we are still fighting. And Parliament is going on. People are not there. The councils are, it's happening in the country right now. So we need to move past this. I think good faith is important, but then good faith also important not only for even the people who they negotiate, but also the arbiters. All right? I also believe, then one day we can negotiate. The umpires, the AU, the ECOWAS, the Commonwealth, and the others, then for also get good faith for all the balance. See? Most often again, we don't see side notion well because of the umpire. If the umpire not matured, the umpire not take sides, the umpire not biased, it will well back in negotiation. All right? So there are things where we all for trust and look forward to even as they start on Monday and pray that God will touch their heart. That one matters. It will go and then we will get a peaceful and a very fair process and outcome at the end of the day.
Now, part of what they can do the dialogue process now for establish or get individual meetings with both sides of the divide for establish within the interests, within the concerns, within the demands, within the position, like how they can able for shift them after the dialogue don't be done. I mean, when the chair for the committee meet with president, it was just a news item. Not much was divulged. And the only thing the president said, according to the news item that was reported by State House, now that he welcomed the delegation and notes that dialogue an important hallmark of African governance process. You mentioned part of the African society. We get by people that always go families, sit down for establishing settle disputes. However, he said he don't promise for give unflinching support and blessing to the mediated dialogue as he go signal the launch of the dialogue process we will begin on Monday, this Monday, which is tomorrow. As the party in governance, what are they taking to the table as far as the dialogue is concerned? Ibrahim, within the president in team or the SLPP government they take to the table, what are they going there with?
So, I mean, this is very simple. Now the APC, now then get the most concerns. I would imagine that the government will get your concerns, but for Usaudi right now the APC, now the aggrieved party, so now they get for come with the most concerns now the table. And the government, I think, get for the most part, listen to what APC get for say as a concerns. And so, the one that they mediate now, the whole objective of this now, forget a common ground. This is where you are as APC, and the government is saying, no, we cannot do this, for example. So it's really basically asking, making demands on the government, because they told us at this meeting today that the APC has basically put forward a set of demands. The government has put forward no demands as far as we know. We don't know whether that may change tomorrow.
And you are not told by the chairperson of the committee as well that government put forward any demand?
No, they have not told us.
So the demands, all they can...
Mostly, at least as far as I know now. So it's therefore really be largely a matter of, now this the aggrieved party APC want, government, now what can you do about it? Do you accept it? Do you? And then government will say, no, I can do X, but not X, Y, Z. So that is really what this dialogue is going to be about, making sure that we have a common ground, we're going to make we all move forward. The thing about mediation, and it's interesting we have in this convention, mediation obviously they offer more in terms of conflict resolution. It offer more than what litigation could do. Because some things that you get out of this mediation, you're not going to court form and get a legitimate, they get to go through a legal process, perhaps something. So that's the advantage. You can bring anything, right? During mediation, then go look at it now. You get forget the lawyers are going to say, no, well, legally you cannot do this because it may infringe the law. But once now go infringe the law, you can bring. For example, I already say one of the demands, I not get them from Actually, even in Dr. Samuel's last press conference, he talked about how MPs, and for example, not on the world councillors, let them get their salaries retroactively, right? There are legal, there are matters. Actually, these elite facilitators mentioned this. There are criminal charges against some APC members, and they are deemed to be political matters. They won't let them drop. So those may be some of the demands, and the government will look into those, and then get a middle ground.
All right, so will it ever establish contact with, link with Honorable Abdul Kagbo, where I think now one already represents the All People's Congress Party the dialogue for talk to him and establish within the position with the All People's Congress they go with the dialogue will start tomorrow, or I mean from the pre-meeting with the facilitators. Waiting to happen so far. As soon as we get our we go and talk to him about that one. But one for welcome Dr. Charles Silva, when our political analyst. They don't join me now at the studio again. Instead for sharing view on what you would expect from whatever the dialogue or mediation will go for hold and go for come out with from where they start on Monday and go end on Wednesday. Doc, welcome again to AYV on Sunday.
Yeah, good evening, my brother, and the rest of our brothers and sisters out there.
We don't establish few points now that one man in that mediation a process where you give or take willingness from both sides of the divide for going at the table, appear there, bring waiting and get for waiting at them position there, listen to each other, and then able to make a decision on them. We also established that the outcome not can be mandatory. It not can be mandatory. We mean say binding on the parties will be part of them, as in with from a legal point of view. Let's hear your thoughts on what we'd expect and what this process supposed to be like, Dr. Silva.
Yeah, thank you so much, my brother. Is there anything how would you do? Let me be very, very honest with yourself. Would they mediate? Sometimes they can't talk book now. But for mediate, when they say me mediation, I'm a village, I mean they call that woman that man they in girlfriend for me they come meet up. Now I'm mediator, they bring two people together for me they go to the one to. I mean the general public understand that. You don't need to go from Big College or Jara or Cambridge for no say. When it's not mediator, now you bring the two people there together for me they do what they want to. We've been getting monologue in this country, not so? Yeah. I don't will call him now, but brother, we've been very good at that. They say monologue, mono means one, and one grade chat. When they say that, me and Tommy or Rashid, now we get issue. But the hell, we don't put that at the table. We say go wrong, we say you say go wrong, now we establish that. Because mind you, all the things they do so. Sometimes people can tell me, say, if you want to come in, but they say, no go out of the way, now people talk, they call me. But they get problem. Not a we get issue. Now people, they get issue. Now then people they have, because they don't reach a point now, personality don't candidate, would have feel say 9 tough, would have feel say 9 sabi, would have feel say 9 get power, or not make because powerless, we say, oh, I really the better can't together. May they really say, what thing go wrong? We go to facilitate the process, now make EU then come, at the receive ECOWAS, all that the whole world can. Well, at the end of the day, they get for go back. Now they get for there forever. Whatever decision we arrive at now we get for make sure say what we agree and we all show interest, we all show concern, we all show, some form of commitment so that we strengthen. That's how we end the rebel war in this country. Some of we been there collect. I don't know if you been there or would have been there. That time they will not get better. They can facility where they know us, I will not be there. Would they put that with black and white way, not even reach this size, would they put on before Dini Kuna, they were all the chant. Some of the ones that be the chant, some of them are ministers there now. We say for them now we won't corner. Now so they say, so for Allah, so why make a can this way? Now we get chance. So I don't know are waiting for us. Some of all them now we read and still then we come out then. Some people then now then they try for go and eat. Now put on that kind of way. One for go to Usa Israel and they are staff full like 100 million times or 1 billion times. I'm not thinking like that to all the four. Now establish that. Then people they say that they can't negotiate, so because negotiation I would get issue. They get past you. Well, anyway, if you ask me a question, I don't know if I ask you specific question, I answer a specific question, but I want to establish that. Not to right or wrong, would I wrong or would I not right? You don't right or you don't wrong, not get for affect that man within a village from something from this morning we grab, you know, eat it.
But ultimately, you go for affect them. It go for affect them because the man in the within a village and then vote for the APC parliamentarian and they will say they know they go to parliament. So when member of parliament and carry bill and go to parliament for go pass them into law, if the other side of the divide not the for put them voice add on to them, it will be said the law then go pass no go favor the people who side then parliamentarian and they come out with the knowledge. So if at the end of the day, you for affect them.
It's not something will touch me. I said, in the midst of 2 lawyers, and now you don't come sandwich me. Why is it possible? Not in a society, not the commit law. Now only who I belong, me not the commit law. When it is people there, you mention one word. We have to be very careful here. We will talk them in there. We have to be very honest with yourself. This is not about side of the divide. They know they elect you for go parliament for go talk book. Then they elect you for where you go there because the understanding here is that people that they expect say. Me we want for can head AYB or me we want for day na any community where I find me said. I say me for be the spokesman, me for take decision, and me for really champion the welfare of the people the way they need it. Fellow, you get for appreciating all the line. This is about divide. Yeah, the divide is good. The divide here now for men will expand the talk, but not to a win-lose situation. But I think say this bench when they look at Salon Parliament because they always see discussion they go. Now one great set today, it look like I say. As far as they concern, once they did the what's in the one that they happen. I agree. Now that they happen in reality, but the ideal situation, we don't know our situation. Maybe then at UK where they say some people, the government people, they don't give money, they don't do this, including even the Prime Minister at the time. I know we call name now, but that was 2010 or 2011. Because at this call name don't bring Usa with this one. But who side they go? They all go to parliament. They say the money, the resources where belong to the British people, that money they nobody enough for torture. They come up with a bill, would have pay, would have lost in seats, would have in political career, rough in love. They're not going because they hate them. We always speak for say, so I know better than all of this. I agree. Somebody has to win. But let we know past time. Now you get the time we'll get now.
So like come back to you, Doc. The question I be asked earlier about waiting. Would you expect the the mediators then for do? So what thing would you expect them? You establish clearly. You say a possible talk case between two people there. So what thing they all supposed to be in this case?
Yeah, the mediators then. Let me take and say na facilitators then. Na big people then. If me and me brother Rashid Naya or Tommy get issue, somebody get for the way he big, that big woman, that big man, we all respect. So when they talk about the European Union, they talk about the ECOWAS, now the personalities, the way they did, now people there, where they say don't earn them self-respect in this world, to the extent that even with presidents of this country and past, even the stakeholders, they all they respect it. But not to that they will come from now. Why they will do that? Then people are get the issue now, they negotiate, now they know. They were they get business for good and that. No. Mediators now for bring people together. I don't put an art really because we not countryman. They don't talk this thing. I'm glad you all the talk real now. When you not mediator now, they bring two people together for make them meet up and go outside and they go run things or make them talk what they want to talk. The one that they get an issue now negotiators then, but I not go under because we not reach the.
But where you bring them country?
When you bring them country together, it creates the environment that make it for ask person. If I been a fine place and say, if I be what been good, the kind of question where they ask me, I don't think say that I go better do. They will say, oh, go under now, we go under then can't. But not to that really we did. If not talk no more, we don't talk. So what's that we don't reach? The question where you ask, what would they expect? What would they expect 1996 or 92 or that time they would do over and we not even get better thing. That's what we they talk. We pull on a door. We all they busy. Then they low me. Would they watch them from that black? They tell me the man is young, even though the thing not be too bright, like how you are bright, but the watch out. President Ahmed Yakaba, former president of Sierra Leone of blessed memory. He talk one word and other big one they fire. And they say this is the one that they are so. The people they were in this salon that they listen to now because also that they talk now, they determine the destiny of their children's children and the like. Now the same talk with them people who they start tomorrow. They want the way they can't help you, they don't go follow you with your hate. What is that what they mean? Now make God give you sense. Would I not get better sense or would I don't go mad, would I not Chris? If you commit crime, say if you left it on Chris, man go wound you, you will not say you get problem because it not they take account. but we all therefore be responsible for what we do.
All right. Okay.
What are the ultimate goal? What we really we hope for achieving all of this? No, they can say a prolonged time. I don't go parliament, I go parliament, I don't take partner, governor. At the end of the day, in whose interest is all of this? I don't go answer that question. May we listeners, whether they contribute, may they tell you. In whose interest? Who are interested in that? Because we are talking about people. What is the problem when perhaps me and you get not get out? Everywhere in the world, people then they emerge. People then therefore be important. At some point, everything therefore center around them. But let us not forget one thing. You are only powerful. You know why people are powerful in the media now, even as Sierra Leone and the whole world? Because the Sierra Leoneans, they will listeners, they across the world want to be powerful. Otherwise, as they say, you will be a hotter. -1.
All right, so let's move on. Thank you very much, Dr. Silva. I like the perspective we bring to the entire discussion. Rashid, I'll take you before I ask some more questions. You have to make some
yes, so thank you, Dr. Silva. I appreciate and I'm glad for sharing the platform with you. Was one of my lecturer in political science. I appreciate you so much, sir. Now, the concern way as a CSO, where don't they push a lot around this issue, where at the very least we also concerned about, even as they go to this table, and now something we will call for really look forward to seeing an outcome we will be in the interest of Sierra Leone. Now the issue about elections, conducting transparent and accountable elections. That one day now something when there are a national interest, something, and because eventually we don't see what will happen in many African countries, in recent times. And many of them they justify say they take power because of irregularities that will happen in some democratic processes, change of constitution and the like. So that is something very fundamental, and we they watch for see what will be the outcome of that day. Currently, the Liberian election they go on with the land lessons as well, with the sea, and I'm glad the way ECSL they involved in that election day, and they monitor right now and they see exactly some of the issues then we perhaps create challenge in the elections. So that is key and central to the people of Sierra Leone and even CSOs. We concern and want to see how that will be negotiated, because that will be a panacea where we will create problem or a make eventually. Because tomorrow we don't want an election for happen again. Also we will see some issue then way that will be a reference point when I so may agree down the line. So and I make me happy if this will be solved through a legal process, because when the judiciary, come to an outcome, now two things. Either you agree or you challenge them. You challenge them, then you left it be the law. So, but thankfully, we don't get a case now. We're there for the Supreme Court, and we hope that case will be speedily addressed, so that at the very least, even if they don't touch the issue in this negotiation, but at the very least, the court could also tell you something as to whether, in fact, ECSL should publish its aggregated data, and make it public to everyone who will so desire for want that information there. That is the case before the Supreme Court at the moment.
Wow. So the U.S. Embassy, Ibrahim, tweeted long statement a little bit and said, I just take part of them, said, though the talks may be challenging, they also present an opportunity. Whose opportunity present for the people of Sierra Leone, those in governance, those in leadership of the respective?
I think among other things, in 2018 or 2019, there was this Bintu Mani 3, right? Where then Selo get a discussion and move forward. Let's get a peace conference, a peace dialogue. That unfortunately happened, but the APC never participated. Why do I mention that? I mention that because I really not see many opportunities in the last 5-6 years. In spite of all the bickering here and there, I not see many opportunities for let the two parties really sit down and say, these are our issues. So as I said moments ago, waiting there can process there, they give you a court action that they give you, even though, of course, I would have loved to see this matter in court. So that where there are doubts, where there are grievances, sometimes possible even saying that this, where it's not true. The opportunity that this offers, now that it will help we resolve the current political impasse, B, it will help address some of the mistrust. There's deep-seated mistrust between the ruling party and the main opposition party. Here is hoping that some of the issues that will come in the presence of international mediators, we could perhaps share their own experience. And by the way, the lead facilitator, and the former vice president of the Gambia, and was in civil society for more than 22 years. So she comes with all the experience, having worked in civil society and then in government, and shall we say, it will be obviously fair and be honest and make sure, say, we get the most out of it. So it's really, it offers an opportunity for the government and the main opposition sit down and really discuss a number of issues that perhaps they don't ever get the platform in the presence of international mediators, and hope that beyond this small problem of not participating, I call it a small problem deliberately, but it's a big problem. But beyond this problem of not participating in government, that they will look at other issues and back with perhaps on day before this election, way before this, perhaps even the government can apply. Let's hope that we get that. Quickly on the issue Rashid talked about, on the issue of disaggregated data. Yes, I agree. It's a good thing to go to court and ask the court for basically declare that ECS said and failure for disaggregate for release disaggregated data, it's inconsistent with the law or best practice. But this whole point, John, a lot of times because we don't read or we only get interested in some things, at the time, we don't know, 2018, the EU election observer mission report, one of the recommendations they make after 2018, and for let the ECSL or NEC at the time release disaggregated polling station results for presidential elections. It wasn't released to date. It's not new. Now everybody talks about this like it's the first time that this is a problem. It was go back to the EU election observation report for 2018. It was a recommendation of the EU election observer mission. It was. So that alone, by the way, not they make. This is the point. This is why I would have loved to see this in court. ECS said the reaction when Mara sent them a letter was that the law not required them for publish that data. I have not looked at the law. Rashid is here. He's probably looked at the law. So if you just take from a legal point of view, they are saying, no, the law not tell you so for publish them. But, of course, we all agree it's a best practice requires publish them. Yeah. But then the other argument is that, to be honest, if me, and this is a general comment I want to make for both APC and even the ruling party, because SFP is in a party today, but they will go in opposition when? Only God knows. The reason we get that conversion is because whether you're in government or you're in opposition, you want good laws and best practices because it good for all my good for democracy.
Like you lawyers say,
precedents. You just need them. Let be right. Now, the reason I make you need for publisher. Okay, two things I like to say. First, every political party need for get resources for field monitors them. Now every polling station. So by the time they say result done, when I don't do for count, when I don't sign. So
tell me the resources might be available, but the other question we for ask access good day to the polling agents. Now a perceived one party stronghold access.
So for example, APC never assign polling agents in Abuja. For example, I try to call these things. Listen, that is a ground for a litigation. That is a ground for litigation. You come to court and say the result come under because it's not allowing. You understand? The law requires that party agent to sign. Say if party agent go, they're not allowed. You understand? You file a complaint. You come to court. That's what you do. But that's not one issue. But the other issue is that we get resources. And me, I'm one person who really believes, say, the two main political parties need for benefit from state resources for the purpose of elections. Not to for go campaign, but for enhance the integrity of the process. Make sure say them at least provide polling agents and every police station across the country, every election, for that the normal, not for anything else. But the broader point I want to make on that issue is that I would have loved to see this, perhaps in the interest of best practice. Say, if we not get this, and we're not able to get access to Pujan or Kailan or other parts of the country, now ECSL conduct election, let them bring them. He could go to court, not basically referring to law, you understand, but just get a judicial pronouncement on that and say, without this, we will question the integrity of the process. But just to make the point that we can take 3 steps forward and 2 steps backward. This disaggregated data issue is not new. Why didn't we push hard for it? Before we are doing all these electoral law reforms, right? In the lead up to 2023, we should have pushed for this. But now that it's an issue, by the way, I'm not saying ECSL shouldn't release it. They should release it if they have it, and they should have it. But I'm saying it's not new. And if it's become a major issue now, let's ensure that going forward, it is in the law that it's a requirement. So that in fact you don't declare the result until you publish it. So we all see it. It comes up before your results are announced.
So Rashid, ECSL might not be key actors as far as the entire process is concerned. But if they go, I mean, these parties go to the table and what the APC obviously put down there as one part and then top demands then and say we expect these disaggregated figures for come out. However, we will take the following positions: A, return to governance, B, several other things. What if the commission or the mediators not able to get the commission for release them figures? What will it change? But also, like the American embassy tweet, whose opportunity this will present for the country and with democracy at the moment?
Yes. So let's be clear. The issue of conducting transparent elections now in all national interests. Right? This is not one SLP interest, APC interest, and with all national interests. And we don't sign up to many international frameworks as a nation where puts obligation, so to speak, on the government and even the institutions therefore do this correctly. All right? Now, so me make the argument on past, perhaps government also maybe push the idea of publishing, data. So they may respond to that. You don't cure an illegality by doing an illegality. That is it. That it was not published.
So is that what you are saying?
So that it was not published then. Does it still justify it not to be published today?
Just Rashid, do I come up with your logic? So in response to the comments.
Let finish, please. All right. No, you make a mention that in 2018 or so, you see a commission from the EU on the failure of publishing.
I'm only saying we should have done this. It was a recommendation.
Yes, so let me finish. So what I'm saying, we not go Holland as a justification not for published today.
Now you understand of what I say?
No, I'm not going to talk to you for me.
Okay.
But the way you understand it, once you go misinterpret it, they will say, okay, it's justifiable to also hold this one. So we're saying, if it was an issue then, it ought to be an issue today.
Of course.
If it was an issue then, it's an issue today, we have to still look at it because it's in our best interest. So whatever time they raise them, whether APC or SLP, irrelevant. Is the issue one that meets the threshold of transparency? If yes, then there is no issue. If no, then there is an issue.
So before you proceed, let us get to me first.
Yes, so also give me 1 minute, let's just end this one. Okay. Let's clarify this. So the point we make, the whole thing about the elections, no doubt, all reports. I've never seen one report where exculpate the ECSL from blame on the transparency and tallying process. None. International, local. I want to see one report where say, then do well by the counting and the tallying. That is where the problem was seen. So what the law is saying, which is clear and we agree on this, that plenty of reserve and tool legal means. But now we are trying to find a mediating process. But what will they say eventually, this idea of the past as against the present, I think say we for left that kind of argument now as CSOs or people them way really they advance the cause of human rights and justice and fairness in our country. If APC do them, then I want to say if we can do them back. If SLP do them, I want to say we for break the chain, and that's our role as CSOs to hold the powerful to account. Keeping them honest.
All right, I don't want to keep Dr. Silva quiet for too long, but quickly before we get Dr. Silva.
I mean, listen, there is this natural reaction I've observed in the last 5 years, in particular, John, we're dangerous in this country. The moment you still reflect, people have no time for reflection now. As you still reflect, they say, oh, they want to use the past to justify. That's what I'm saying. I am saying we have not made progress in reviewing electoral laws. In 2018 election report, where the EU do, and you can go to it and see, Rashid, yourself, it was a recommendation because the EU perhaps, and then the only organization back then, we see that as an issue, that we need to publish disaggregated police station data. It wasn't published in 2018. It wasn't. But when, interestingly, John, the APC, Sylvia Blyden, challenged the 2018 presidential election results. That was never even one of the issues they complained about. The fact that they not published the targeted police station result. I am not saying, and let me be very clear, the viewers, before Rashid, the own misunderstanding of my position, moved viewers. No, I'm not saying it is not relevant. In fact, I raised it because it's been discussed before as a relevant ingredient in our push for get electoral transparency. Why it wasn't done in all of the electoral law reform we do between 2010 and 2023, it's only God knows. Because at the moment, ECSL is saying the law not require we for publishing. But EU had said, publish it. Why didn't we include that? Now that it was a matter, it was an issue in 2018. In fact, it is even more an issue in 2023. I am saying going forward, mediation, no mediation, you understand? This is something that has to go into our electoral laws. And I've even said, you don't publish the final result before publishing the... You publish this. I have made all those contributions. But because you get this way in this country now, as we refer to the past, you are using the past to justify the present. No, Rashid, nobody will stop me from referring to the past. Because if we don't go back to the past, we can't even assess whether we've made progress.
All right, we're still trying to...
Or we are still stuck where we were 5-10 years ago.
With the time we'll get Honorable Abdul Kago, we'll still get him on the program. But that comes to you, Doc. Now, still continuing with the statement, with the embassy release. Now, one thing we're clear, until you mentioned, and I asked you that question there about waiting the role of the mediator for the possibility to talk the case. Now, the statement said, number one, then they encourage Sierra leaders for take steps for build trust, for put them personal interest and partisan interest aside, and seek the outcome that will benefit Sierra Leoneans and safeguard the country in democratic path for future generations. Say compromise in the best interest of the Sierra Leone people is a shared responsibility of government and the opposition. Most times, mediation okay means a compromise get for happen there, but compromise will happen. Dr. Silva.
Yeah, thank you so much. When people they tell them what they are, these are generic. If you tune with radio tomorrow morning, if you now open AYB tomorrow, now left you know from morning 7 o'clock to 7 o'clock now. Now one grace alone, then this one grace alone is stress more better than the apple. Rest the day, we don't talk about stress. We are talking about who goes to parliament, who is not going. You know, while they listen to these dynamic, legal-minded guys, I'm now going home with a fresh mind. What do they do so? We don't country people, the way they come up, I grew up in a very minute suburb, now, the most part, then they say, well, lies. I don't know how so they can call them lies, but that's the way Kindena people they hear those days.
Loss.
For me. Loss. They say you got to pull them before you plant. Because if you not pull and if you plant, at the end of the day, it crash. You get for lose the plant. Now what they do in this country. Are we here? We can see they talk about compromises or the reports they talk about compromising what? Any country will compromise the rule of law, that country sits on the bombshell. This thing, all they talk now injustice. Me colleagues and okay, they don't allow you to call them colleagues. Me party there because they are the landed people. they will say this, that. This compromise, I don't need which side with it. We are talking about people who sit up and resources in this country, where some of we will entire generations until we not going to get them so easily. They work for it though. Why would they do all of them things there? Brother, the only way they talk, I read to me, I read Rashid, we all they talk on the same page. Now analysis purpose number. Now we not always feel say today it is you. You can be so powerful today because they want you to be powerful. Tomorrow if they withdraw the power from you, you are powerless. But we'll get them half injustices there. Now we use this opportunity. We're not going to prolong that so much because what in now they talk we as a country. What will they talk about? Would have a good parliament, major opposition or opposition say in order to participate in governance, when a very big thanks to democracy, even with national development. May God touch with all hearts, no address. But honestly speaking, but we don't start from this point here. The day when they announce the result, they say, you go and win for go to court. You say, you know the good. Then people are going to the car. Now we even assume, say, the UN Secretary General, the whole UN, the whole ECOWAS, the whole AU Council, they will not be here forever. They never go back. If we don't accept, say, we went from somewhere, we will ever remain. Injustices, they will go to this place here.
So who side the wrong day? Who side
the wrong day? Fellow, level accept for your own institutions. They may not be the best, but they will be. We have to establish that. First, they do what you are able to do because of one or two actions they want to take. Then the day, some of them think they are going to do not salon. We get people that will be there in this country. Where perhaps we feel they're so troublesome, they're so uncontrollable now with political system or wherever. Some they're in other country, they don't know they be every day because their country they don't make room for that. Some are right?
No.
Their country they don't make room for that. But I will say here tomorrow, 2028, somebody for just come and say because of APC and I'm not doing this.
So Doc,
holistic something.
So Doc, who make the wrong? Electoral process,
wrong?
Social injustice, economic. Who make the wrong?
Who will make the wrong in this country? We see the continue. And they so respect individuals, then they become so powerful to the extent that they do things and get away with that. This is across the board. Let me not hide the APC or SFPP. This thing is not about APC or SFPP. It is about the mentality of the Sierra Leonean. Some of we don't even get a new car as far as we're concerned. Other people do not have those cars because they are not as smart as we are. And we're not smart. It is about road. State resources. This man, they can't not go no side, not do anything extraordinary in me. Everywhere in the world, people they grow. Would have one for gentry in the world, go do business. If you are in charge of state resources, my dear brother, it is a sacrifice you have to make. So it is a very complex question. Thank God the lawyer are there. We're not going to do that now because the mediator there will come from elsewhere or even Sierra Leoneans, they get their own business for you. When they don't, then go back. We really get for consider. Why make me marry this woman? Why they marry people that they can't celebrate with you? Some man will say I will buy cow, some man will say all the drinks on me. At the end of the day, they are going back. So long we not can, this is another opportunity we don't get. We're not going to say we get for prolonger for the next 1 month. But what then people have go really? When I always sit on a country, humanity we go there. When we go to that place, instead of addressing the issues whether they have bug with them, this person say that person there for candle, this one over there. It is not about Charles Silver. Is it really good for us? So what you make is say, you find out say uncharacteristically I'm not able to talk more because what if we must with him partner? Now for our grandpa number, we all know what's the problem is. Why make we have the courts? All laws we don't kind of this country, even after Israel and Hamas, then they come up with new laws to change things. No, so us. And then laws then it depends on you. We don't get problem with law.
So in this case, Doc, who's the problem there?
What's the problem there? We are so dishonest. And they take on one word. I don't talk this book, but today I talk after today I'm going to talk again. I know the day I'm going for talk. The earliest class in this country we are roads. Now we bring all of this problem. Now we say more sit up on the law. Now we got the book. Now we will people then trust. The way some of we they talk now their radio here. The way they talk even in Freetown here or elsewhere. Imagine me now on my village, they say Dr. Siva, as they say doctor, some people they say that is the key nowhere. For them, a doctor is a doctor. So all what he mean they say, this year I know they help you. When I sit down and when I don't get property there, when I don't be, when I say, when I begin there, everybody don't make. We say they pray God for level with that level.
So
peace at any cost.
So, Doc, gentlemen, this
peace at any cost. Peace at any cost. It better pass Plaba. If not, would I go Israel?
Yeah, absolutely. So this 2023 elections seem for is now plenty because media landscape don't go. It's huge. It's big. You get new media now where the proliferation of randomic information, the worker travel faster than they travel 2012, 2018, and on to now. Now that we get all this attention on the elections of this year, can all these recommendations now be put on the table? And like we doc they say, we bring some honesty to the process and begin to identify them one after the other. That's why I'm asking, based on this statement, say it presents to be an opportunity. What we can do with the recommendations there, so the reform of the electoral law, and looking at all the other things and going forward, what they can do for we gentlemen, Ibrahim and Rashid.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Yes, so indeed it's a golden opportunity, and I believe. Now make me and I can really want to see, especially CSOs, they will not bash the international reports them. It's in good faith and will help you. We'll lack. But you see, you mentioned the one we didn't do the last one. But it's in good faith. These people they are trained, they can help you and resources so we give them money. So when they observe and see things, you might ignore it today. Tomorrow it will be an albatross on your neck. So let's come in good faith. See, I apply the word good faith because now it will help we. If we go by this process, we not get that kind heart and willingness for we get an outcome. We go moving forward. We go waste with time again. And chance our doctors very correct. They are the we can't go just now. Now we get for left again. So importantly, we embrace the recommendation. They ask we don't come up from any reports. Don't let they bash them. Don't let they cry them down. Let we look at them again and say yes. There is something here we can take, and that's why I salute the president. I saw his tweet and all of this thing that he welcomes the report. All right, that's how we should see the report. The EU report is there to help us. All election commission they make, they're very strategic because this can cause problem. We will create problem while at our country. Election-related violence. It don't happen in many countries. So managing it in a very open and transparent way is key. So let we embrace the recommendations them and meet me. Think say even in the process of negotiation, then they also look at them. So eventually in the agreement when they will draft, so many things will surface as well. Because like you say, I'm not sure it's like a main party at the moment on that table. I don't know if they go to go and kind inside. But perhaps if they reduce the kind of thing to some recommendation them or some agreements, then perhaps they will look at them going forward for perhaps push for legal and policy reforms. But we have to fix our electoral system. It's broken, all right? And then small tier will continue if we not address them in good faith. So what time I'm talking to my brother, and I know legally like we make exchanges in programs, that if we make the argument, I'm not saying it will make a negative sense. But sometimes people can misconstrue us to think like we are now trying to justify what is happening at the moment. That's why I was trying to, caution that kind of approach. What's wrong in the past is wrong today. And if we be bold for saying anybody with their power, whether APC or SLP, I have blasted for APC, the same thing I said to people right now. In fact, SLP can give me a job. So I don't care. If they're not going to court, that was a wrong approach. I will say it 100 million times. The only route to deal with electoral disputes is a legal route. And to me, this case may even get route up to ECOWAS court. I was telling some of them, you don't know how it has to do it's a human rights issue, a human rights, the right to vote and be voted for. You can bring such case even to the ECOWAS court if you believe that our courts have failed you. So you see? So now we don't pass that stage there and lessons learned. So this is something we have to say going forward. But if any government, especially do the wrong thing, as CSOs, I will, particularly me, I will say it openly without any reservation. I'm not a politician. For now, I stay on the people's side. When I go to politics, I will resign and let them know that I'm in politics. So that's the role we should play. Let's call them to book. Let's hold them to account. Whatever it's APC, it's irrelevant. If they do things the way they come about with body politics, we have to say it as it is and help them out for do the right thing for the progress of the country.
So everyone, the statements we don't come, EU, the recommendations focus on getting electoral reforms. This statement as well from the US Embassy clearly say, the ambassador, obviously, on the eve of the dialogue, then they call on all stakeholders for agree on an inclusive process for reforming democratic and electoral laws and institutions to better protect, like Rashid said, rights and reflect the aspirations of the Sierra Leonean people. Tommy.
Yes, no, even before all of this, I don't sit on this program and say we don't conduct at least 5 elections since the end of the war, and every election we don't get concerns. Everyone, from 2007, 2012, 2018, 20, every election we don't get concerns. But for say electoral system broken, I think it's harsh, and I think it's really unfair. You are overstating it. You exaggerate, Rashid. We don't get elections. 2007 there was a transition, one party change, the other one came. 20 to get the same thing, right? We have to sometimes we just stating these things not really make you a better activist. You have to be, I think, sometimes we have to go easy on ourselves as a country. Clearly, the electoral system, we get issues. And those issues have been barely laid out in various reports. There are 13,000 polling stations across this country. They talk about one major thing where really this whole lecture talk about now the transmission of results. Okay, on polling days, some polling stations not on time, but all my vote in the end, not perfect, but at least there was an effort. There were logistical challenges, of course there was an effort. Waiting at the biggest issue in the electoral system right now, as we say, now where people don't vote, they don't count the results, that processing of the results, and can announce the presidential election result and other election results. That's where the problem is. It's not all of it. The EU 2018 report, the government and the partners implement fully 5. In fact, at the highest rate of implementation of any EU report now, the South African region. 9 partially implemented. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this for a lot of be circumspect in how they describe it. We have made a lot of progress in electoral law reform. The truth is that the 2020 election wasn't perfect, and we have said that before here several times. The truth is that we have to come to this discussion with a clear intention for address the legal loopholes, make the laws stronger, for make sure so we make the progress we don't make since 2007 or even before then, so that we will get. So in these discussions, back to your question, apart from getting APC to come back to governance, inshallah, the one big thing I want for see come out of this, now for let both parties, government and the opposition get representatives in parliament, for say, what's going to make the electoral system better? I don't think I think it needs, it can be improved upon. I don't think it's broken. It definitely can be improved upon. What's going to make them better? How we improve them? Now, in terms of resource management, let's focus on resource management. Going forward, you get for release this data, release this result, don't announce until this is done. Create a robust system. We're going to make sure you not just announce any result as a final result, where you not get result, the way they explain how you get. That's the biggest issue that we have to address. But we have a system, just to justify my point that is not broken, we have a system where they register people, where they identify people, you vote ID cards, you go question the quality, but you not deprive anybody in 2023. Nobody now go with the voter ID card, they say no vote because you get poor voter ID card. So some of these things are exaggerated. We get people that they can't vote, then queue, then vote, then count, right? The problem, and that's where I keep repeating myself, the problem now that where they don't send the votes, right? their management of the results. Now, resource management, John, now yonder the problem. They will address a lot of issues over the last 5 cycles. This one now going forward, ahead of 2028, resource management, get forbid the focus. It has to be the focus. And this discussion not going to go nowhere. APC will come back now, governance, it's not to solve the problem. Me don't always talk before we go into 2028, all of these issues, law put in a law, and law make sure say the Electoral Commission respect them fully. That's how it's going to happen.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, Rashid, you have to make a comment.
Yeah, you know, me both had misconstrued me a little, but it's okay. You know, when a CSO, and I'm saying this from that perspective, they analyze an electoral problem or a problem in the nation, we know they talk like a politician. They talk like one then way, one for see an exclusive and if a near perfect society. That's our role. We know they can't talk like politicians. We don't they try, we don't they make so no. And that's today the danger I see in many of my CSO colleagues. They speak like politicians. We're not politicians. They draw the state to an aspirational level. We therefore push them to get to a perfect state, if at all. That's our role. We don't talk it light with them. Hey, they try. Now to me, talking about the issue of, I said broken. It's broken. In our report we did, the election now, we talk about result management and the issue there. And from the start, the registration, going to the verification, going to the issue of getting cards, everywhere along the line that we have problems. Our reports were clear on this. I don't understand. So we all knew that we are going to have a problem at the end. Because from the registration, many people were disenfranchised. There is issue of new registrants. There is issue of the NCRA. There is issue of even the phases of the thing. So many things happen. So when we say broken, we want to fix it comprehensively. Not just that abracadabra approach. Take one side and this. No. And as CSO, that should be our call. We call the state to look. Do comprehensive reforms, not just take one side and just fix another one because it will crash again. From the registration process, how transparent it was. The issue of the ID cards, people in face do not come out safe. We all know what happened. And the defiant to even change it at the end of the day. So this was a whole chain. That's why I am saying, and it's not new to just the SAP regime. That's the difference with Rashid. I can trace again to APC regime that so many things also happen in their election handling. So when I'm saying, so check now from 1996, if there are no issues since every election, there must be, we don't see election, they will then cancel, you know now, go police, go this, all kind of thing, all right, cancellation, this, that. So that's the point. The impunity of the ECSL in itself is something we have to address, all right? That is not saying we have not made some few efforts in the respect to legislation. But that is not all. If I want to make a legislation, they will make in 2012. We make in 2012 a key reform. Now 2012 will see them. They will see them in 2023. All right. So we are late in the day. We are managing to catch up. But now we have to sit down and look at everything again comprehensively. That's the argument. So broken not in the negative sense per se that nothing has been done. But now that we have to go comprehensive. Now he's talking about the management of the result. I disagree. That was just one aspect. The aspect of legislation. The issue of even the timing. So many rushing of the processes. People not be educated on knowing this whole thing about the PR system. You know, so many you had argument on this one.
I don't.
All right?
I don't. I don't. I'm sorry, let me just say this quickly.
Hold on. I'll come back to you, Tommy, for that. But we need to move on. Don't not just center around the. I mean, it's the I don't have a color in the elephant in the room, but it's generally what it is really. At the end, now the crux of the, like we can say in Creole, now the Edipandi talk about the Edipandi case. That's where really, truly, the issue of if we not get the ripples from when the process starts to the management of the results, nobody knowing for the talk about mediation today. That's the Edipandi case, like we say in Creole. So if we not get and then we're not going to reach those out. But let's move on quickly. Now we don't talk about the process. We didn't really expect them to do. I mean, both parties will be going to the table tomorrow. Then they go put forward the case. Then they go talk to themselves. I know for sure it's going to be heated, but obviously, with the guidance of the mediators, they did it and before, get the room calm and get everybody for talk and listen to. But what will be a potential good outcome, Doctor? Last start with you. I think a potential good outcome for everyone we involved. We established clearly, President say in committing himself to unflinching support to the process. No demands we not get from ruling government side. But then all the demands, the fares, all the interests now from the opposition side. So what will be a potential good outcome way now in the interest of the people of Sierra Leone? Doc, let's start with you.
Yes, thank you so much. We say we can get the problem. We are so afraid of shame to people that we don't have to establish the fact. We are talking about the people that no call names. This matter now between them and that. You know why they can ask this question? 2012 was it? I've been fortunate for the Ghana. Where I can be the go Ghana, normally I get a colleague in the university, they go and they can day. But we sit down like tomorrow in the court case, electoral petition, presidential election petition. I became curious to the extent I know it will be an argument. I said something is about to happen in this country tomorrow that is very important and nobody is talking about it. Now the man tell me, say, go down, they not to Ghana issue any longer. It's a matter between somebody who lost an election and somebody who purpose to have won an election. It's not then they go to court. We are moving ahead. But when they allow people, they will get everything it takes to leave. When me they can now, I want my colleague for can help me small, give me small fear before they can and make a candidate. And we have people that are accomplished, they make so. That will be very honest. Then two lawyers are the team where they talk now, today they talk, but all court is by the name. We don't allow individuals there. Mind you, we are talking about EC. It was INEC, 1996, it became NEC, now it is I. We can get any day. These are Sierra Leoneans. Nature, Siva, Rashid, Tommy, Wolves, if tomorrow you become president of Sierra Leone, you are taking your characters to that office. Are we doing the right elections? We don't say the problem there for God's sake. Why make you visit America with all the facility, then get a specific date, they say we'll do election. So all the things they go through. I was part of this week constitution business. I mean, for the day as the political scientist, now so they call me, they give me small things, don't ask me how much they do. But we need it. But at the end of the day, we sweep under the carpet. Otherwise, whether we go bring the electoral commission from America, England, Germany, you name them, we bring if not so number with mentality day, some of we, the small book they will all learn for just chat. So when they say this person, Siva, the host and separate don't be within 5 years, they don't have these are the smart these are not thieves. So all of you they say, oh, people they go under tomorrow. Not for me now, we sit on there. If I ask for water, when I go give me somebody in the street here and for me, even get water, I don't go get. We found with the way they go, and they come back because I know it's tender than I will favor. That message with President Kabawe, they don't under today, which I will all get for aid. May God forgive us for ill mistakes. May we say God forgive we. Until we can't, we know what will go wrong. When then at this place, they see the lawyer and they say, well, one, two wrongs, not they make one right. I don't need for going to school for me and go say, well, you slap me, it's wrong. If I do you bad, if I tell me, say, I do you bad, I beg you. So what you are, they really, they say, and they find it difficult for talk. Because all what they talk now, in the first instance, we say we're not trust the justice system. And they use the word we, because the one that when they talk, we will not raise alarm with support. When you are silent, when somebody they do what you consider say wrong, they allow for. When I make some of you get problem. Because me I can tell you, I say, you know me more, you know me brother. If you gentry, no, we don't gentry, but this way don't do it, not correct. We don't start right from there. But what we say when they talk peace now, because when they talk about dialogue, now for many people they can put their grievances on the table, they find a middle ground, they all resolve and they will move ahead. Because all what they do so, people they under the viewers they need for understand this, or perhaps not to understand, they need for hear this. Would they make Sierra Leone not they grow? The demands of ordinary Sierra Leoneans they don't grow. Them who also don't meet up in different capacities too, but we all be in this side. Phone I mean you probably now from college or me will be there the first degree. No. Now some of us are even saying every student for sending assignments via email or WhatsApp. And that goes with cost.
All right.
So the Sierra Leonean in 1996 or 20 years ago, not to the same Sierra Leonean now, we are not part of the global community.
All right, Doctor.
Any development where they can. So what here they say? Now big number will they continue for being with brothers and sisters. And the rest of Sierra Leone will all this way. Some of you will not get the facility. Some of you now will not get a return ticket or will not get even perhaps 10-year visa for go anytime we want to go. Some of you for even go long, even the new airport. My greatest opportunity want to do for me, I say I'm not before go do it. One of them that now that will swallow with pride,
yes,
with pomposity, with status. Then we use the knowledge we don't acquire through ordinary Sierra Leoneans to make this country they at peace so that the small development we don't start as a country will go ahead.
All right, Doctor.
Now that moment go appeal.
All right, Dr. Silva. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you, gentlemen. I'll still get the question. I'll come back to what I think will be a potentially good outcome of that these 3 days process scheduled for be held. But we want to go over and take some comments from we viewers across the globe. And for Apple with that, we get Salifu Cherno Kamara for give you the comments. Salifu, waiting the viewers, then they say.
All right, thank you so much, John. We get Boku message them, and the one way I go like for take first, it come out from Lamin Sobe. He say, in a dialogue on governance issues, one can expect open and respectful communication, a focus on problem solving and finding common ground, a willingness to listen and consider diverse perspectives, a commitment to transparency and accountability, and a shared goal of promoting effective and responsible governance. We no want let person begin go demand for waiting in self no say it no go possible just for bring unnecessary arguments. And Amara Alpha they say indeed politicians must put Sierra Leone first above all else. To me, the issue of not going to parliament after being elected as MP or mayor, councillor is an unfortunate and unacceptable situation. And mind you, what goes round comes round. From 2007 to 2018, some people called the SLPP a mumu and dormant opposition. And not that they were not, because they only knew that Sierra Leone is bigger than party, politics, and individual differences. But why now the APC members did not want to give peace a chance? And Raymond Kagbo, they say, the system have been tested several times and have woefully failed. The courts in our country need to prove everyone wrong. We have countless instances when they have disappointed everyone and derailed truth over the years. The court is part responsible for the state of our country. And remember, the war was as a result of these similar symptoms. Please, let us speak truth to power. And Abiz comes to say, personally think ECSL should be part of this dialogue, mainly because they are the main reason why the country is still struggling. We need the data out to know who actually won the election with the 56%. And Sulaiman Jabate is saying, please, what is the role of the civil society in this negotiation? Because I think they are to represent the people in this mediation process. Because after this, we really want both parties to concentrate in the moving forward of our great nation, Sierra Leone. And Abdul Rasman Case, they say, historically, Sierra Leone as a nation have strong value on mediation and dialogue, like the Lome Peace Accord and the Abidjan Peace Accord. So we must learn from lessons of dialogue on a honest and open conversation on the mediation. And Musa Sandi, they say, the decision they are going to take in that dialogue should not have anything to do with our national constitution. It is simple. If you are not happy with the election results, go to court. Is the only body that have right to overturn election results, not any international body. Kelfala Kosia, they say, the whole issue is centered around the APC having problems with the outcome of the election result. especially presidential results election. The aggrieved person will have something to take on the table. Government will listen and respond to concerns. Zake Sise, they say, sir, mediators supposed to bring solution to issues that both parties are having, and it will be binding as long as both sides sign to it. It will be a contract, which is an agreement, and a binding legal means that each party is bound to obey or execute. And Mohammed Conte, they say, if we as a nation, our elections are coming down to negotiation and dialogue, it means democracy in our country is dead. Elections replacing negotiations and dialogue. We cannot organize a transparent and credible election as a nation. This is a very bad thing for our country and a dangerous precedent for our country. Political parties had agreed that politics have infiltrated into all our institutions that makes them unworthy for redressing matters. And Elijah Thorley, they say, when most of the African countries are catching up with the modern world and technology advancement, we are busy destroying ourselves and nation with our prehistoric mentality and thinking. Sad and pathetic nation. And Eddie Grant is saying, the Commonwealth Special Envoy to Sierra Leone, Yemi Osibanja, held a press conference before the election. In that briefing, he said, we are not here to interfere, neither to influence the outcome of the elections. That was a wake-up call for the APC to know that the international community cannot do anything without the outcome of the result. That can only, they can only recommend. And Favor Kurma say, we are expecting the dialogue to be truthful and honest. That is the call of all Sierra Leoneans. And Suma Musa, yes, we only have one country, but are we forcing people to do the thing? Believe me, this nation should not have gotten to good people. APC should not be the one fighting for this. I think everyone has the right to go to court and prove the truth about the outcome of the elections. We all know how the elections went. And Mohammed Hindolus Salia, let us be honest to ourselves. It will be of great help if the opposition realizes that the people voted for them to channel their issues with regards to their needs. And Mohammed Nalo, a very good democratic engagement. Thank you, Dr. Silva, for such a brilliant analysis. Indeed, reflecting to the past will actually lay a brighter and a stronger foundation for the future. Again, people should not be stronger than state institutions. Institutions should be of paramount, and people should learn to seek redress to those institutions whenever they feel aggrieved. That's what democracy is all about. I think that's the last message today. And back to you, John Conte, at the studio.
Interesting comments today. I love the tone of the comments there, man. They don't sound too confrontational and as it can be previously. But it's good. It shows that even the public get one piece and then get an expectation. Then they look forward to what it needs to be done. Somebody mentioned how it seemed like everybody didn't have the global village, but we had to progress. We are moving backwards, and plenty other comment there. One point I want to zoom in on now, the fact say, this mediation, Tommy, they expect them for come down with a sledgehammer and stamp and say that was an illegal. The results from the election be legal, the outcome not be legal. Therefore, we ask that you have another election, or we nullify the current government. You're not expecting that from such a dialogue.
Well, I won't say I'm not going to expect that, because obviously any party get right for come up with your own demands. But is that realistic? Is that a realistic demand? So I think the first message where the person read, or at least the one we note, the person urge the parties to be very realistic. in terms of what they ask for, the demands. And this is what I've always said. When they ask for example, CJ for resign, for the electoral commissioners for resign, is that a really realistic demand? So as much as we acknowledge, say, there are issues we need to be resolved and then get demands, they have to be realistic. So, and I don't expect, this is to answer your question, I don't expect, say, then go put that at the demands, but I not go rule them out completely. But if they put them out at demand, is that a realistic demand in terms of achieving what they ask for? I don't think so. So I think going to this conversation, what we really focus on, how to make sure, say, what to bring with to Usawudi, right? No recall, which is why, again, I think, say, even we self when they come on them platform there, you make the point about the tone of the messages. Yeah. We've got to be conciliatory. You know, you cannot rehash the same messages will lead you to this grandstand and all of this. It doesn't quite help for create the atmosphere where everybody go into this conversation with the hope that we'll get a peaceful resolution of the issue. One thing quickly I want to talk about. Somebody said ESSS should be part of this discussion. I agree, and I think the lead facilitator tell you today, say they meet with the ECSL. The ECSL have acknowledged, say, they faced challenges in the electoral process, logistics, funding. There are things you understand them. So another thing, say ECSL said they run away from the genuine challenges where they've faced. And I don't want to go back to this issue, but I have been in this thing for 12 years. I'm doing some of them years, and they Rashid they work for a government body that they defend all kinds of things, but we'll be there. I have worked in this space for 12 years. I like to think that I have spent every day of those 12 years for see progress. So when they write off me 12 years in this space and say nothing has changed, that's what I quarrel with. I think it's important that we recognize, as a country, there are many, many challenges confronting our electoral, our democratic institutions, certainly with electoral process, no doubt. If we not bigger challenges, we wouldn't be here. There are challenges, John. Everyone should recognize that. But to say that it's all broken is what I disagree with. And if that makes me talk like government official, so be it, Rashid. But I like to be measured in the way how they look at things and identify which are the problems there. And you talk about many, many people are disenfranchised. You don't even have the data. You don't even know whether they're disenfranchised. 1% of Sierra Leoneans. Sometimes, would they try not to talk like politicians, but they rehash some things that way. They come from unsubstantiated positions. It's not really helpful to the whole dialogue they get. 2007, 2012, 2018, 2023, we have questioned the elections, but I don't think anyone has ever called the electoral system broken. Not by anybody questioned that. We have always said there is room for improvement. So my position is this: going to 2028, the one thing we need for fix more than anything else, John, now the resource management system. If anybody disagrees with me with that, that's fine. But in the catalog of issues we'll get by this election, John, the one that is disenfranchised, if any, less than 1%. Voting, the one way ID card not making enough vote, less than 1%. The biggest issue is the resource management. If by all the ID card complain about, they start of voting, all of that, if all of that be happen, believe you me, if resource management be go well, John, we wouldn't be talking about this.
All right, okay.
That's my proposition.
All right, okay. I'll come back to Una, but for some reason Honorable Abdul Kabo, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, clearly. All right, so let's get on with you. We try for established link with you on Zoom. For some reason we're unable to. But let's talk about quickly within the APC they go with to the table. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can get you now.
All right, let's talk about briefly within the All People's Congress Party they go with to now the table for this engagement. Is it first of all, is this one long overdue or timely right now as it's happening?
Well, mostly I've missed the dialogue long is almost stagnated. And anybody will want less salon go before, they will want to resolve the issues there. But firstly, let me make some corrections to what Ibrahim Tommy say. That this is not the first time, not the first time where they get disaggregated data. Not only in this way they get elections in salon, but waiting they happen. The disaggregated data, then they take an data.
But Honorable, can you, Honorable, just hold on. Let me try to establish better contact with you. I'll do again. Just hold on. Just then establish better contact.
Yes, and before I go into a position, let's just make few corrections with IRE and Ibrahim Tomidi say. Ibrahim Tomidi say this is the first way that they get issue with this aggregated data. Me want confirm to as somebody who don't be very active in elections, especially relating to party agent for APC. This is not the very first elections where they ever conduct where nobody knows see aggregated data at the tally center. Because waiting they always happen at that. When they go with the results then at the tally center, then they display unto every polling agent way you know, una self they give na IRF form where una they go with, where then they display, una they compare waiting there now una IRF form with waiting and they put na the screen for display. Like for example, let's say polling center 1 na Tombo, let's say APC 50, SLPP 40. You they pull your IRF form, you compare if waiting the input na the system, the same thing. IRF form. This is not the first election we don't ever get where they not even show you waiting then the inputs na the system, waiting then carry the result where they carry it, the results where they enter. Nobody no see anybody. This is not the first it ever happened now salon elections. Now that make people then they ask for disaggregated data. Disaggregated data has never been questioned because when I go to the polling, when I go to the tally center, where they don't enter. In fact, before ever they send them to ECSA, they make sure say they sign and then they add on copies of them disaggregated data. Then they all the polling agents then they give on copies of them disaggregated data. Then. But this is not the first time we don't get elections.
So honorable,
result, nobody don't know it in enter.
So honorable, now that you stress that, so now that you stress that, now I'm the demands and then they want to take on the table.
No, let's begin with we demand them first. Mm-hmm. Firstly, we waiting at the bone of contention. Firstly, we believe that the result we ECSL announce not reflect the people and vote. Now we say get your IRF for them with we as a political party. And we get a technical team will be hand over the IRF form than they don't can do a presentation to we with evidence. All the IRF forms them, about 70% of the IRF forms them, they use now the elections, you know, where they give a party and then do a presentation to we. So the presentation we then do to we see say we win the elections.
Okay.
Waiting them to we.
Okay, honorable,
yes,
we're not getting enough time. Just give you a list of the demands they want to take. Go to the table.
One, we get a key demand. Because like when we talk is not when they go into dialogue and force to misunderstanding. You know, now in the essence of the dialogue. You know we're able to settle misunderstanding when you not establish waiting at problem. ECSL they say waiting at post correct. We they say waiting ECSL not post correct, not correct. So meaning we get put the IRF forms and put up and ask ECSL for the new IRF form. We do a comparative analysis. So we not be able to establish whether waiting at problem or waiting with the go talk we don't know first whether correct or whether wrong. So we need for see the disaggregated results where ECSL get when are in the use for compute, waiting them publish as district results.
So are you saying? So honorable, are you saying without that no engagement?
No, we they engage, but that now we number one demand. Now the most important demand when we as political party, because it is not only for APC, it is for the sake of the country. Let other presidents not come, you appoint people in a CSL, we go can they announce no more waiting they want. then they're not a give result, they're not to be accountable to anybody.
How far?
We believe the only way.
Go ahead.
The only way we would get power now to democratic means we for safeguard democratic process. And one way for safeguard the democratic process now for make sure say it's transparent, now for make sure say it's free and fair. Just people like AYV when they conduct election for order for be the head of staff then they don't conduct election, they don't show you vote we score. They just announce result no more say you get 30 votes. They don't able see the 30 votes we score. So bone of contention is publish the results. ECSL, now they get the result, now they conduct election. Let them publish the results when they get.
All right.
Then after they publish the results, we then clear them. We don't suggest them for do an audit on the results when they publish.
So I mean that means you don't have to revisit the entire electoral process again. Anyway, waiting. How far on are willing for bend? We don't have enough time, unfortunately. How far the APC willing for bend when you go into this dialogue?
Well, basically, the mere fact that we actually go into dialogue shows say we ready for bend. And the way we ready for bend, now for make sure say we correct the processes and procedures of elections in Salone.
As the process they go on, as the process they go on, are you sending including Yusuf to Parliament anytime soon?
Well, then they get for be as a of the dialogue. A product of the dialogue. So all things therefore happen, therefore be precipitated by the outcomes of the dialogue.
So what if our demands not be met? On our long list of demands not be met?
We not believe say government not going to meet with demands yet. We believe say government are very willing.
I mean you have the belief you have the belief, but what if the demands they not be met?
Like I say. Nobody will gladly with the way we Salone this so right now. We see inflation, we see everything, we see taxes there outside. Everybody go want a beautiful country. Everybody will want one country where everybody go look for support. And one way we will get international support. Now for let us say we processes and procedures then correct, And one way we go do that now for let opposition say it's not that way. You say no. Let we go to the processes and procedure. Let we correct them. Or Salone as a country, go suffer as a nation.
So honorable, what if this one key action one they ask the electoral body for take? What if it be decided upon tomorrow morning and the disaggregated figures are announced? Would you get the parts of your party moving and send them to be part of governance?
Well, definitely, like I tell you. The party very willing for participating in governance contingent on the outcomes of the dialogue. The mere fact that we go into dialogue, if the demands met, not so now they met, in fact, go then at the dialogue, the party don't say let members of parliament then go to parliament, let mayors then go to council. We just want let government run.
Okay, so finally, before you left, we sorry I got to rush you, Abdul Kagbo. Finally, before you left, the people of Salone and obviously supporters of the All People's Congress Party for expect after Wednesday, will the entire process go end?
Well, then for expect say we get a solution to this entire problem. And me, they always say, if solution did this problem, the one that we refuse for provide the solution, be it APC, be it government, be it ECSL, be it anybody will refuse for provide a solution to the current state of governance now in all like this country. So if now the disaggregated data we ask for as a political party, we the ask ECSL, we not compromise the integrity of the country. This now we want to get. Remember, the MCC cost all over $400 million. They help solve electricity now the problem now the country once and for all. Then they don't stand on just because of refusal for publish this disaggregated data. Remember, we don't get people away that don't get visa ban just for the refusal for publish this disaggregated data. We don't get American embassy to ask for disaggregated data. English embassy asks for disaggregated data. French embassy to ask for disaggregated. German embassy.
So Abdul, again, before I left you, if the data be released by, let's say, I mean, ECSL decide for release the data tomorrow, would you guys go to decide they want to vote for and go to Parliament and start for work so that you provide a viable and very powerful opposition voice in a Parliament and in governance?
I believe as they release the data, I believe the particular instruct we say we go wisely do audits on the data with ECSL they release for ensure waiting the people and vote now in the release because as I say we get copies of the RRF for know whether waiting the people and vote for now in the release but the stubbornness of ECSL now in the progress we country now in the make we country they na the bad light but people are not looking at that they look at let MPs then go work let councillors then go work how you go work by results where you're not sure of where you not be confident on. And other serious problem back now the compromise of state institution.
All right, Honorable. Unfortunately, we will for left you here for now. We apologize that we only get you for a short while on the show. Most definitely, the engagement will continue during the week. A lot more media reach out go happen, and for sure, I'm sure you'll get enough time for make clarifications and comments.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Abdul Kagbo from the All People's Congress Party. Gentlemen, we really don't exceed with time for today, unfortunately. And also plenty of comments and people have told me, I know you for your pen. For sure you're going to go.
No, I'll be checked. I'm coming right now. I got good tonight. I
really just want to follow, just use 30 seconds and then we round up quickly because news is supposed to go on at 9 and we don't exceed time already. Yeah. So let's just use 30 seconds and round up. Let's start with you, Ibrahim.
Quickly, I just for correctity say, I know challenge APC and position say they not see what's go inside the database. What they say was EU in report in 2018 it talks let them publish the data, not to about what them put in the system, not to that it talk about something completely different than what they address. It's about publication of the disaggregated data rather than waiting actually ECSL they put into the system. Right. But in all of this, one quick thing we say was and this goes back to the point I make. If they publish the disaggregated data today, they're going to do the audit, then go back to work. Goes back to my point. Resource management are the biggest issue in this election.
Absolutely.
And let's resolve it going forward.
Ibrahim, to me, thank you very much, Rashid.
Yes, so me and my brother will always agree on certain issues, and I respect in decision. My own viewpoint as CSO, our electoral system is broken. We mean to say we need to do comprehensive reforms and not just piecemeal reforms. Now we get an opportunity before a case before the Supreme Court. We equally germane to what the APC they call for. The Supreme Court need to act now in good faith, not delaying for happen. Let them now say they're not going to court, but court case not already now. So let them look at the case and let them decide whether it's correct for SSF or withhold the data or not. Lastly, I appeal also to the government and even the APC. The government on the one side, let's stop the escalation. We don't see some few appointments they go on. We don't hear parliament they threaten, all in escalation. Before the negotiation, you don't want to do these things. It will create a good environment. So the APC come in good faith. People in Wallin go work. That's the majority's position. As a CSO, I work with the people. Someone not tired with this. Right. Let's go back to Parliament and let's go and do our work for the nation and for national good. Right, lastly, on my own part, as CSOs, let we continue for hold the government to account. Now we hold land and even opposition people when they do right. All right, and then an independent commission for peace. All right, independent commission for peace. I beg, may they extend invitations. They're not invited you at this beginning. I beg, we are CSOs then we credible when they do the work for people of Sierra Leone. If now do I again, we the right to now. Now invite we all or can all help in the process. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Silva.
Yeah, thank you so much. You see, just like what you say, I can able to talk soon, but today I don't find that difficult because we must something which map and the truth with a bit about the bush. All them say I will talk at the area say in case EU or whichever organization or country will say we for do election, they get that right. Who said they can do? Sierra Leone is a sovereign state. Let's establish that. Whatever people they can do, they can help we for let fix so that what in they affect will affect their own nationals, the way they are or the immediate neighbors. But all what you make is say, oh, they go under tomorrow. If you really think say you get ego, You're so pompous to the extent that you're not ready for compromise that your own personal ego way don't be, you know, to leader. Hang on me. Did it? What they go and allow what they would take clean minds. Sierra Leoneans, some of them, the water what they drink now, the fear will use for kaya, they take care of their families where they don't get time today. Now that will stand for. So to me, with the big everybody, we know what's the truth today. Let we compromise. It's not enough for tomorrow from 7 o'clock to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We say that one grace salon we get every day. What you know say that one grace shoes where you get any side way rugged where you reach there, you take your time. Let we take with time. Let we not go to Usa we don't come out. I say thank you to all the Israelis and Mrs. and Masters. Let we beg with Papa them, we work them, we husbands them. For say this is not good for we. We don't want to let them accumulate property and don't amass wealth. We're not to criminal offense. Everywhere in the world, people get from the world to what they do. Where could God stand on a property they go? What you would this one at Israel now with the area now? The one that we don't build houses, the houses that we got maybe don't be united in person. So I think say by the grace of God, Wednesday, we're not going to meet again for begin say, would I do this, would I do this? Would they celebrate? We want for APC, SLPP, then they march.
Yes.
Would they be ended?
Amen.
To me, I don't say you did it. Yes. Because you all did it for battle.
Yes.
All right, Dr. Silva.
I don't say AYB go there, they come away. Now, for point the camera from you.
Mr. Godede.
Get the inside and say, some of our own feel say, because I don't talk inside, when I get says past all man. When I get for take ISO, this trip here, let's make this piece. When I go take on our cars, then we'll go back and say we're also supposed to.
All right, Dr. Silva, thank you very much. Well, we've been for like forget you more voices, we've been for like forget you more thoughts, we've been for like forget you more opinions. Unfortunately, now so we'll go for end AYV on Sunday for today. Many thanks to the panelists, Ibrahim Tomi and Rashid Doumbouya, both of them are lawyers. We also want to thank the political analyst at the studio, Dr. Charles Silva. We bring a different perspective for help you for understand within dialogue supposed to be, within mediation supposed to be. We're all hopeful that at the end of the dialogue process, a positive outcome will be in the interest of the nation will be made, or decisions will be made. To meet again some other time, we're not on content being AIV on Sunday count to you.